Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show hosted by a basement dweller who grew up scrounging terrible fan subs on sketchy websites prior to the convenience of modern streaming, alongside a willfully ignorant soul whose only knowledge of anime comes from the shows forced upon him here. This show will contain spoilers, incorrect information, and copious amounts of adult language. Our hosts are not experts on any topic, and everything they say should be taken with a grain of salt. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And I kindly remind everyone to not wet their chinchilla.
I'm Sean Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
Remington, this is going to be a hard episode for me.
Oh, God. That's not... What the fuck? That's how you open?
Yeah.
We've had a few weeks of pleasant wholesomeness, and now you open up with the abyss?
It's not so much that I'm opening up with the abyss as far as you are concerned, Rem. It's...
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow, you came around quick. There was no hesitation there. That was just like, oh yeah, I'm fine. If it's just you suffering, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Where's your sense of empathy, man?
I don't know. It's left like 100 episodes ago, dude.
Or more recently, back in the Bloom Into You episode.
Okay. No, the vulnerability doesn't exist. Don't worry about it.
Well, my suffering aside, Remington, this is going to be a bit of a hard one for me. Not because the anime is bad, per se, and not because I have a deep-seated childhood connection to it. It's going to be bad for a reason that will become very obvious once I start explaining it. For me specifically.
Interesting.
So to start
Is it about an awkward nerd?
Okay, listen here.
I am gaining information that may or may not be relevant to what you have shared with me.
I mean, the main character is a little nerdy, but in a sense, but not Sean quality.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, continue.
Okay. So the anime we're going to be talking about today is simply called Kumu Desu ga Nanika.
Yes, of course.
Yes, I'll give you the English title in a moment because it kind of gives out the goat, as it were.
Oh, the suspense.
Yes. So this story begins how all good stories start, by a whole high school filled with kids being murdered.
Oh, okay. We're starting off strong.
Yeah, nope. This whole anime starts off pretty normally and peacefully in a pretty modern high school. And then one day, quote unquote, an unprecedented catastrophe strikes the school, killing every person in its wake.
Quick question.
Yes.
How modern, theoretically, would it be around 80 years ago modern?
No, Remington.
Cool, just checking. Just double checking.
No, God, no, Remington. Holy shit.
We've seen it before in anime is all I'm saying.
We have, yes, but I would not go into this episode.
I was just checking.
If I was doing something with that subject matter, I would not be so lighthearted. Holy shit, Rem.
I was double checking.
I mean, if I'm gonna make light of an entire school full of kids being eviscerated off the face of the earth, it's gonna be a more lighthearted show. You would hope. I mean, I'm not that much of a monster, I don't think.
I am merely checking. So now that I've checked, you may continue.
And guided by what seems to be a miracle, a large group of those students, are being reincarnated as people of high station in a fantasy world.
Okay, all right.
So it's isekai en masse. Truck-kun had his work cut out for him this time.
Fascinating. All right. I don't know if we fucked with I guess SAO was mass isekai,
yeah.
But in a way that it didn't matter at all.
Exactly, because you have to have characters.
It was mass isekai, but also only one character fucking matters in the whole thing, which sort of dilutes
everything.
That.
Yeah. Yeah. They tried to make it about more than one character, but they kind of failed. Poor Reki. Anyways, it's been a while since we bashed Reki.
Hey, Reki, we know you listen. We love you and appreciate you. get better. Which I've heard that you have.
He has.
Good.
He has.
Good on you.
I've read the
But,
first
like,
two
keep getting
progressive
better.
books. Two? No, wait. I think I've only read the first one. Yeah, no, I've only read the first one. I just pulled up my Bookwalker account. Yep, I've only read the first Sword Art Online Progressive. It is much better than the original. Still got that Reki flavor, though, I'm afraid.
Oh, Reki.
Reki.
You can take the Reki out of the bad story, but you can't take the bad story out of the Reki. I don't know what I'm saying.
I think
Please
it's the
keep going,
opposite,
Sean.
Rem, because very clearly we
Save
still
me
got,
from myself.
we got the bad story out of the Reki a second time. So, it's just it's just kind of the way these things go. But no, and so all these kids are lucky to be reincarnated into pretty high positions, your typical fantasy isekai story where you got a bunch of kids who unfortunately met their untimely demise and are now in a fantasy world with probably unique power sets and abilities. That is, except for one person.
All right, the good old one character is super under/overpowered with a possible switch a few episodes in.
Exactly, Remington. It's a la Slime reincarnate.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
Because, and Remington, this is where you're gonna realize why I have issues with this show. Our main character, Kumoko, is reincarnated as the lowest of the low-level spider monsters.
Okay. I see. I understand. So for those who don't know, Sean is arachnophobic. Not like the worst ever of arachnophobia, but still pretty fucking bad. It still cripples him sufficiently to the point where I am surprised he did the research for this episode.
Yeah, thankfully, the arachnophobia doesn't trigger as often as you would expect in a show where the main character is a spider.
Or is it cute?
Sometimes.
All right.
Anytime it switches to CG, though, I get nightmares.
Oh God! All right, CG. My true fear in anime.
As is many, but no, this time it's CG that genuinely terrifies me because, deep-seated psychological trauma. But no, yeah, the English title of this anime is So I'm a Spider. So what?
The nonchalance. It's just
Yeah, I'm a spider. So what? Gonna make the most of it. Because the main character, Kumoko, is basically like a super positive Genki girl trapped in the body of a spider.
All right. It has a lot of elements that I'm liking right now.
Yeah, and the whole premise is that, shit, I am a crappy spider. But whatever, I'm not dead, so I gotta make use of this. And it's the story of her interacting in this world with as a spider and occasionally running into her companions and cohorts that she knew in her previous life, who are all just, normal ass humans. She's the only one that's just like a literal spider the whole time.
Perfect. All right. Well, I mean, it sounds interesting. It sounds like it might have potential, or that I might hate it, which is always exciting.
I
Could
don't
go
like
either
it.
way.
I don't like it.
Well, yeah, but there are very specific reasons why you don't like it.
Yeah, and while they might be what you could call biases, it was a bit rough for me to research this one, Rem, because I was like, oh, I've seen the cover art for this, and she doesn't look too much like a spider. Like, she's got, like, some of the features, but I think, there's some cute panels, so that this might be fine. The real issue, Rem, is that when there's CG spiders moving en masse, and that's when I get a little bit queasy, to say the least. So it goes without saying, I'm not rewatching this show with you.
Yeah, that's fair, Sean.
Yeah. So so really my opinion of this show is I don't wanna, whereas your opinion of the show will be much more accurate and realistic. Because you don't have a deep-seated fear in you while you're watching it, waiting for the random CG spiders to show up, and then you go into a mild panic. So with that, Remington, you can jump into it on your own. Go watch some Kumo Desu ga Nanika.
Previously,
Do not wet your chinchilla.
Oh wow, you came quick.
up next.
You know what I like, what I've realized, Sean? BuzzFeed quizzes, they have similar naming conventions to Japanese light novels. I've critiqued the opposite of webcomic to anime. This time I'm encouraging anime to webcomic.
Now, back to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back after consuming 5 whole episodes of Kumo Desu ga Nanika, or So I'm a Spider, So What? In Remington, I didn't rewatch this with you this time around because
No.
I had my reservations that I made very clear at the beginning. And so I just thought I would lead into this with, do you think my reservations were appropriate? Or do you think that was just some, I should have pushed past my completely irrational phobia to get through the spider anime?
I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to say, oh, you need to push through it. But I mean, the spiders weren't spooky.
No. The spookiest thing about it was the CG, honestly, and that's...
Yeah, no, the CG was egregious, with not the most egregious,
No.
but it wasn't good still.
No. It wasn't the proper arachnophobic response that you would normally expect from a proper arachnophobe, but I still didn't like it. So let's go into it, Rem. What are your thoughts on the spider isekai?
All right. So, we'll just get started with episode 1. Episode 1, we start school cafeteria, isekai beam, wake up in a spider's nest, the whole gambit, right? She sees spiders eating spiders. She finds a mother spider, and it's like, all right, fuck all this shit, I'm leaving. She explores the cave, gets some abilities that aren't super useful before deciding, all right, I'm just gonna build my own crib. And so...
Yeah, I hear she learned how to do that on the web.
Hey!
I'm so sorry.
She eats a spider and gets some naughty abilities and some good abilities. First episode's largely just survival, right?
Right.
So, she ends up catching a big old poison frog. She fights and kills the frog. And then at the end of episode 1, we go to like a magic academy and there's a little feast going on and a billion characters are introduced. All right, let me be upfront with y'all.
Yeah.
So first of all, spider stuff, it's going to be real simple to get through because it's always very straightforward. It's just like generally pleasant. The spider is cute and likable. She does fun stuff. It's
Except for the
real
part-
pleasant.
Except for the part where she's an abomination upon God, but hey.
She's real cute. It's real pleasant. It's not the deepest thing with the spider. But you know, it's fun, pleasant. It's nice to see the progress. Unfortunately, there's 2 bits, one lesser, one more significant, that the show keeps trying to make work. One is backstory. It keeps trying to make us give a shit about the backstory of characters and how they were in the old world, in the real world, right? I don't give a damn, and it's given me no reason to. But more significant, those only happen occasionally. More significantly is this Magic Academy bullshit. It takes up like 20 to 30% of the runtime thus far, and it is just, oh, you have all these characters from the school. Do we care about them? No, because we didn't see them in the school. We didn't see anybody in the school. There's no development. You have this shitty, like, one of the worst harems that I've ever seen starting up. Everything is uninteresting. I don't give a damn about anything. They try to add a little bit more depth on this side of things, but it's all just bad and uninteresting. So, yeah, so like 70% that is the spider stuff. Solid, pleasant, a little bit shallow, but fun. The 30% that isn't, meh, it's all a bit shit.
Oh, I don't know, Rem. I mean, don't you like the idea of a bunch of reincarnated people being in a magical facility together? You know, reconnecting after their tragic demise?
Sure. And I think that, like, that could be interesting on its own if it was explored, like, more interestingly, but it's just, like, not. There's not enough to it. And weirdly, like, maybe if they spent more time with it, it would matter more. But, like, episode 1, they're like, here's all of these characters, and you're like, oh, God, okay, sure. And it really focuses the Academy bits on this guy who's, like, 4th in line to be king or something. We don't know, because the world building isn't great. Like, it's one of the times where it's like, you gotta put me up to speed, dude. Because I don't know these characters from the school, and I don't know who they have become in this world. And you are giving me both, which just doubles the names and identities that I'm supposed to know, and I have no idea any of them. All I know is that this prince, he's starting up a harem, and they just use all tropes. All tropes they've smushed together. So, for example, there is the former teacher who is now the same age as them, but even though it's the same age, they're an elf, so they look much younger. So they're both lolly that's older, but also teacher trope, which just ain't great. There's some weird sister stuff going on. There's one friend that was a guy, but now is a girl. And then there's a girl who's a dragon. So just and then there's a religious girl as well. So this is the harem we're sort of establishing here.
Bit of a strange
and it's
mix.
it's trying to genuinely do every possible trope I hate, just smushed together and lacking any semblance of depth or intrigue.
Oh, we only have 3
really not
characters,
good.
but we have all these tropes. We gotta smash them all in at once.
It's so bad, especially because once again, like, it is balancing both their identities in this world and the old world, neither of which are established. It's a fucking mess, dude.
What?
I didn't like any of these bits. Like episode 2, it opens up, right, with a flashback for the dragon girl who is like, oh man, it's the flashback of like she bullied our spider girl, right?
Right.
She bullied our spider main character, and then we immediately cut to her now being a dragon, being like, oh man, I feel really guilty for bullying. I hope she's okay. Now I feel bad. It's like, oh, okay. That was a quick resolution. You introduce bullying and then you introduce guilt. Okay. They've not considered or talked about Spider-Girl since, but okay. It's
For all
it's
they
a
know,
bad
she's
bit.
dead. Permanently dead.
Yeah, it's just not a good bit. So I'll be up front here. I'll go through all the Magic Academy stuff in like a minute,
Oh, wow,
And
that seems
then-
a bit short, Ren.
and then we will not talk about it again. So, you have a different prince. He's hoity-toity. He's up on his own ass, super arrogant. Your standard trope. He wants to be a hero. He's jealous that people like the other prince. Whatever. Okay, sure. The dragon is self-conscious. And there's some weird drama about, like, the dragon is taboo because the dragon single-handedly... The dragon is a little baby dragon. But the dragon, more or less, is responsible for killing a huge fucking dragon. Like, it's no big deal. Which, it hardly makes sense in the scene. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And...
Though, to be fair, we have a tiny spider killing things like 10 times its size. But
Oh, yeah, that's true. But that is... I'll explain why that's different in a moment. Put a pin on that briefly. The only other thing you need to know is that the main prince, semi-protagonist prince, he has a brother or something that he looks up to, which I think is just in the world and is not like, it's not his real world brother. It's his isekai brother, which I don't know how that works. But they're the hero or something.
Yeah,
And
so the way, from what I understand, is a lot of them are reincarnated, but the rest of them are not.
yes. Wait, no, I understand that bit. But, like, apparently they were given all the memories of the isekai characters, too?
Yes.
Maybe?
Yes, I believe that's the general idea. Because
It's-
otherwise there's, like, some kind of cascading time effect here, which I don't know if that's accurate. I think it's like a
Amazingly,
a
you would
villainous
think in like the Magic Academy, since they're all like talking to one another, you think there would be a lot more like, holy shit, what's going on? No, literally everyone is like, wow, all right, so this is how it goes, cool, and no one gives a shit. No one gives a damn. Anyway, so his brother is a great hero or whatever. which is only briefly relevant at the end of episode 5, where that hero is close to confronting the Spider-Girl. That's all. There we go. That's all the Magic Academy bullshit. Even that, I could have skipped all that. You wouldn't have missed anything. But for any, like, super fans of the show, I'm gonna make sure I get it.
Super fans of this show. There are so many. There are
All right, so
many.
so let's get to the better bits, which are the spider bits. Now, now let's address. So I mentioned that it makes no sense for them to have killed the big ol' Earth Dragon in the Magic Academy, right? With the weird, overpowered nonsense. However, as we will see time and time again, the spider is just super ridiculously overpowered. Just like super overpowered. I'm more okay with this for 3 reasons. One, for the spider, it's presented as mattering way less. Like, the Magic Academy is almost trying to be a drama, right? Where it's like, wow, this is intense. We're all in danger. Oh, God. Whereas the spider side of things it's much more tongue-in-cheek, much more over the top and silly. 2, the spider's able to be much more tactical than we've seen in the Magic Academy. There's some genuine strategy that goes on, which is nice to see. They're still, like, overpowered and work a little too well, right? But you get tactics, and it's like, okay, so a monster with a human brain is able to do a lot more than the monster would able to normally do. Okay, sure. So, like, those reasons make it more acceptable. It's still a little bullshit, but it's not as big of a deal for the spider. I'll be honest, I'll still be, even though the spider's most of it, and I'll spend more time with it than the Magic Academy, this will not take too long either. Because, once again, we're not telling a complex narrative here, folks.
No, it's kind of, the reason part 1 was so short is because there's not a whole lot to describe.
It'll be our shortest episode in a while, despite having me watch 5 episodes. So, in episode 2, we have some stuff of, like, humans show up and light all the webbing on fire. She has to build more stuff. There's some weird allusion to, like, a tragic backstory for her, where she was just so sad and alone or whatever, and I didn't give a shit about that. But she grinds a little bit, ends up fighting a huge, big ol', like, basilisk. She evolves, and yeah, so there we go. Episode 2, she's eating it. A lot about the show is just like her finding food.
Yeah.
Like, one thing I do think is interesting. Like, it's basically, all right, if you had all the abilities of a monster, right, but the brain of a human and the will to grind as a monster, which, you know, that's like a genuine advantage. Monsters normally wouldn't give a shit about grinding. Because they wouldn't have the brain power. But being able to grind as a monster, that could be a bit OP. Not as OP as it would present it as, but, you know, still, there's an internal logic that I can get down with. There's some... really, I've given you the basic, like, how the show works. Like, I'm going to get repetitive real quick, because how it works is Spider-Girl finds monsters and either runs or tactically murks them, levels up, gets new abilities, repeat. It's very straightforward. There's some little details that are nice, like the spider's personality is really like the core and the heart of the show. Real charming. I like the vignettes they do. There's this like singing spider outro, which is fun. They have vignettes about the spider being Spider-Man, really like that one, or being a magical girl, that was fun. Like, there's lots of fun moments, but it's just show up, get in a pickle because you're a small spider, figure your way out of it because you have a lot of resources around. Meanwhile, she's also taken some, like, strange abilities like Pride and become the ruler of Pride, that's implied is, like, spooky, and that she's gonna essentially be a big boss at some point. She fights a bunch of monkeys at one point, just a little ape army, and she finds a magma world full of like huge seahorses and catfish, which is fun. Yeah, like I want to say a lot more, but it's so straightforward. This is one of the least complex shows we have ever covered.
And that's saying a lot because we've covered some uninteresting, uncomplex garbage. But would you qualify this as being god-awful?
No, like, once again, they got the details where they need to be. The personality of the Spider-Girl is really pleasant. A lot of the jokes they're fun. They're humorous. They work. The little cutaways and the vignettes, they totally work. Anytime it tries to make backstory or the Magic Academy work, it falls flat on its face, and that's a solid 30% of the show. Then for the 70% that's the Spider-Girl, there's not a lot of substance or depth, but, like, it's fun, it's pleasant, it's what it needs to be.
What if I told you that it's still currently airing and it's going to have a total of 24 episodes?
That's a bit much. I would say. Already wearing a little bit thin. I think that it should not be that long.
And as far as light novels go, there are at least 10 different light novels.
I think that this is the type of thing that, weirdly, I think it would work better if someone adapted it into a webcomic. So I've critiqued the opposite of webcomic to anime. This time I'm encouraging anime to webcomic. Because that's sort of where I think it would be perfect.
Oh, goodness. Oh man, that's wonderful, Remington. That's just wonderful. But I still think you haven't touched on the biggest problem with this show.
Is it that they're spiders?
It's a fucking spider, and I hate it. It's god awful.
Spider's real cute. If you're not arachnophobic, you should be fine, even if you're spooked of spiders. Like, other than episode 1, you're mostly just with the main spider, who is not, like, she has human eyes, so it's like...
No, as far as spider's design goes, she doesn't really trigger the phobia, but occasionally she'll, like, do things with her extra legs that, like, subtly skis me out a little bit.
Yeah.
But that opening episode with all the other spiders and eating other...
She does a lot of like dancing and nonsense, which it's enjoyable. Like the main character is fun. She's delightful. I feel like, and even the abilities watching her level up, that's fun and interesting. The tactics and the battles, they're made interesting, albeit like predictable. But predictable on how they'll end, but like the things she comes up with, like they put some thought into it, which I appreciate. It's not that it's a completely stupid show. It's shallow, not stupid. Let me put it that way.
Reminds me of high school.
Speaking of high school, there's a great quote where the spider, she's just talking to herself and she makes a terrible pun or something, and she's like, I can make a bad joke, but there's no one here to comment on it. And I was like, oh man, that's basically why we started the podcast. So that people can hear our bad jokes, so that they're not lost into the ether.
And then people comment on them and we think to ourselves, why do we keep doing this?
I also think that, like, there's a good variety of creatures. Like, the show, it's not lazy, it's not stupid, there's just not a ton there.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Then I have to ask, Rem, any chance you could tell me the mouse score for this program?
Oh, man, I have no fucking idea. Oh, my God. All right, from what you said, it seems like it's not super high, because you seem to imply that it doesn't have a rabid fan base. But I found it to be pleasant, which I don't know if that has any correlation on Weebs, but generally, things need to at least be a certain quality, sometimes. Forest Fairy 5. I'm going to say it is... All right, the range I'm going in is 7 to 7.5. I'm going to say that it's 7.42.
Okay. So it is still a currently airing show. It started in January of this year. So it's still a new series. And its last episode is sometime later this week at the time of recording. And... it is currently sitting with 63,729 ratings, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, but it is sitting nice and pretty at 7.32.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah. Tired.
I would personally probably give it in that 5.5 to 6 range. Once again, people always yell at me about my rankings.
Mm-hmm.
I want to remind everyone, when I rank things, 5 is true neutrality, all right? Anything below 5 is distaste. Anything above 5 is a thumbs up. So this is the lightest of thumbs ups.
You're just kind of like shaking your hand a little bit. Your thumb's kind of sticking out, but it's not fully there. It's not a proper Colosseum he can live type of thing.
It's yeah, I mean if he really feels like it, he can live.
I feel like you don't know how the Colosseum worked. But that's fine. That's fine. It's not like we need to have that kind of knowledge in the day-to-day. You've never seen Gladiator, so it doesn't matter. So then I suppose, Remington, without further ado, my final question for you. Any chance you'd like to sit down and watch some more Kumo Desuka's Nanika by yourself? Because I don't want to watch it.
Maybe a couple episodes, but not 24.
Well, you should tell that to the creators. And with that, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you enjoyed me airing one of my deepest and most personal fears out on the podcast, then you can head on over to wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever, and leave us a review. It really means the world to us, and honestly, if you don't have any other means of supporting us, it's a great way to do so. But if you'd like to go even further beyond, you can head on over to twitch.tv/animeoutofcontext, where you can watch me and Remington yelling at each other and playing a variety of strange and sometimes not so strange video games. And if you'd like to support us even more directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/animeoutofcontext, where you can gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including having the opportunity to have Remington read your name aloud. Read your name aloud? What? What did I just say? Read your name out loud in a very... I'm just going to start that over. Holy shit.
Take 2.
Yep, take 2. You can head on over to patreon.com/animeoutofcontext, where you can gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including having the opportunity to have Remington read your name out incredibly poorly. Remington, who are we thanking this week?
Well, as always, I would like to send our regards to all of our bland bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we reach the yandere waifu tier, who are showing Sean all sorts of pictures of sexy arachnids. And on that list, we have
People actually do that. People actually do that. Don't encourage it. I get emailed pictures of Arachne all the time because people know I'm scared of it, and they're like, "Hey, Sean, look at this sexy spider lady."
I look forward to the fan art of me and Sean as sexy spider ladies. On this list, we have Xerix, Walk Me Home Gently, Tsundere Dragon, which is a lovely reference to the isekai that does this exact formula, but a little bit better. Trenton Towers, Totally God, The World Shall Know Propane, Sorry Mother, Scissorum, Silent Secondary, Sean Arie, Week 8, Dandy Boy Adventures Like Mother 3 But Porn, Scoopy Loopy Boopy Doopy Hoopy Goopy Hoopy, Sarah Birch, Sammy Pritchard, Salty Pretzel, Sequoia Faye, Remington Connoisseur of Anime Titties, Remington Merrill, Rem My Dog Died Let's Go! Rem, you failed the name pronunciation test, I always do. Rem wants you to be Weiss Schwartzmeister, Redneck Weeb, ready to be Isekai. No, I can't possibly say this name on the podcast. I'd rather watch every episode of Beastars than read this name. Matthew, my brother, unironically likes SAO Drum. Matt, I swear that's not my Joey Wheeler Documentar G. Makachop 92, Mahu no Pug Tears, Luke Offenberger, Lonely Geek 23, let Sean pick the next tier's thing, he won't. Just Quill, Juan Jaritos, Joey Wheeler wishes he could sound like Rem doing his Joey Wheeler impression. Hell yeah, dude. Jax, Jack of Spades, I believe in Taiga Isaka Supremacy. Hey Daddy, did you hear about Rem? He's so poggers. Hanekawa, Glenn Michael Dolan, Ghostly Bishi, I need more Joey Wheeler in my life. Lots of love for Joey Wheeler here. Gay as fuck, but without the fuck, cause I'm Ace. That's a good one. I like that one.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Fuck of Love, Foxen Boy. Fruit is the best v Shoujo girl.
That's a VTuber reference. I probably didn't have to tell you that, but yeah.
Then I read it and my brain was fried, so I assumed. Fern the Sandwich Man. Farmer Weeb wants and Joey Wheeler high school girls. Oh wait, all right. Farmer Weeb wants and Joey Wheeler. Hey yo, high school girls, up for me, high school girls. Joey, that's inappropriate.
That is
Erica
very
P.
inappropriate. Except he is in high school, so.
Well, you like at the very start.
Oh yeah. Like,
dicks are so cute, OMG. When you hold one in your hand, it starts twitching. It's like it's nuzzling you. Dark with Light. Darkstorm 713. Danny Morbido. Corey Des 69. Shy 900. Christian Crawford. Cheese Monkey. Baby Bun. Ariel Bird. Apostle of the Church of Remington. Anime Duck. Andrew Sinclair. Andrew Rauke. Elise Howard. Alexa Hickman. And Albert Avila. Thank you guys so much. But we move on to everyone's favorite tier. Because they get the best prizes, I think we all agree, and that's the Boy Wizard tier, who each one of them is getting their own Harry Potter themed BuzzFeed quiz.
Okay.
I don't think I've done this one.
No, you haven't, but please, for the love of God, make it good, because the amount of apology letters we're going to have to write for last week's is still, like, a thing that we have to consider.
All right, well, Wolf, you get ever wondered which Harry Potter character would be your bestie? Just order some dinner to find out. I've mentioned this before. My favorite type of quiz is answer this completely irrelevant side of things, and we will tell you this. All right, Rare, Country Roads is the best Ghibli movie, Fight Me, Kumiko. You are going to, unless you're a muggle, you should know where these quotes are from Harry Potter or not. Pilkster, the Symphogear advocate, you are going to get everyone is exactly like a female Harry Potter character. Eat a couple desserts to find out yours. MT the poet, you're going to get eat food throughout the day and we'll reveal which Harry Potter spell you are. Miguel Delion, go shopping for dresses and we'll reveal your Harry Potter best friend. Kirigiri is best girl and Remington needs to know this. There are 4 magical wizarding schools. Tell us your Harry Potter related opinions and we'll reveal which school you should attend. Kazu Morocco, let's see if I can guess your zodiac sign based on your Harry Potter opinions. You know what I've realized, Sean?
What's that, Rem?
BuzzFeed quizzes
Are all the same?
and no, they have similar naming conventions to Japanese light novels. Just imagine any of these as a light novel to be turned into an anime, and by God, I think you can do it. I live in Ogden. Yes, that one. You are going to get make an ice cream sundae to find out which Harry Potter character matches your vibe. I call Bone Drew Daddy. If you met Draco Malfoy IRL, would you be his type? Hinata is a ball of sunshine. Tell us which songs are in your playlist and we'll reveal which Harry Potter movie you should watch. Enrique Perez Torres, create a tasty pizza and we'll reveal which combination of Matilda and Harry Potter characters you are.
What? I'm sorry?
Here's a spoiler for next week's free banter. It's that quiz. It just merges so much nonsensically. Wait, was that Enrique?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, DJ Hires, you are going to get, you'd either fit into the Weasley or Malfoy family. Find out which one. Dedicated Sadist, it's sort of strange, but the pancakes you make will reveal if you belong in Gryffindor, Slytherin, Ravenclaw, or Hufflepuff. Declan Des 13707, Zahariah, you are going to make a big bowl of pasta to reveal which Harry Potter character would be your BFF. Darth Pikachu, you are going to get name the Harry Potter character based on one random detail about them. Balalia, last but not least, you are going to pick out your favorite Squishmallows to find out if you belong in Gryffindor, Slytherin, or Ravenclaw, or Hufflepuff.
That's a stretch.
I love that one as well. But we move on to the top tier, the Chevanomusco tier. Corey in the house, here we go. The best of all tiers. They all are going to get a fictional spider.
Yeah, I hate it.
Zachary, and you get Sean's pain. Zachary Shirley is open all 8 inner gates and 7 heavenly breaths unless there's a revisit to IQ. You are going to get Spider Ham, which is
it's from Enter the Spider-Verse.
It's a spider. It's a spider named Peter who got bit by a radioactive pig.
Yeah, Peter Porker
there we
specifically.
Go. Yeah. So there we go. You get Spider Ham. Uncreative Cretin, you are going to get Aragog. Keeping with the Harry Potter theming a little bit. There you go. Best of both worlds. Silicon Spectre, you are going to get keeping in Daniel Radcliffe's zone. You're getting Shelob.
Okay, listen here, fucko.
Peter Maciel, you are going to get it. So like the true form of Pennywise,
yes.
Which is a fucked up spider.
Which, yeah, still not great. Still not a great twist.
Then we have Ozaka's. Ozaka's, you are, let's get it. mythological, you are getting Arachne from Greek mythology. Very skilled at weaving, kicked, was it Athena's ass? And was
so.
punished for it.
Yeah.
Punished for being too damn good. And last but not least, my dear old mum, who will stay in mythology. You are getting Anansi, who is part of African folklore, and is a little trickster.
Not to be pedantic.
Anansi, there's some fun stories about Anansi.
Yeah, not to be pedantic, but I think Arachne wasn't punished because she won. She was punished because she was gloating.
I don't know, man. I think it was just because she was that damn good.
I don't know. I feel like it had to do with like her attitude.
I'm a fact check.
Yeah, please fact check. I would love to be proven either correct or wrong, either way. Because I just feel like I remember it being like not because she won, but because she was a brat about it. But I could be misremembering.
It's all right. So it seems like primarily Athena was just a sore loser. Vaguely it was like sort of to humble Arachne, but that was like a secondary goal.
Okay, yeah, the Greek gods are particularly vindictive.
So she wanted to humble Arachne, but also she was just real pissed that she
Yeah.
lost. But thank all of you so much. We really appreciate it. If you would like to reach out, whether it's for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can tweet us at AnimeConPod on Twitter or send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in, and as always, don't fuck your sister.
All of our Dylan Kreider's stiff and big these days. I am Chinchilla.
And I am depressed. So I'm depressed. So what?
There's a great quote where the spider, she's just talking to herself, and she's like, I was just horny. And I was like, oh man, that's basically why we started the podcast. Penis!